Hello guys, we from Group 3 would like to present material about translation equivalence. Here, we consist of 10 group members. They are Cut Kumala Nurul Fakria, Dinda Nabila, Eka Anggraini Rahayu, Erika, Fatma, Genta Juanda, Indah Sari Siregar, Karsina, Riyah Wayuni, and the last one Sri Madalena Brutu. I hope you can enjoy and understand our presentation.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Cut Kumala Nur Fakria. I will explain about what is translation equivalence. First of all, we need to know what is translation. Translation is converting one language or source language to another language, or we call it target language, so that the target language could convey to intended message in short language. In other words, it is a process through which the translator decodes short language and encodes his understanding of the target language form. And what is translation as applied? Linguistics. Linguistically, translation is a branch of applied linguistics. For in the process of translation, the translator consistently makes any attempt to compare and contrast different aspects of two languages to find the equivalence. Translation equivalence is the similarity between a word or expression in one language and its translation in other language. This similarity results from overlapping range of reference. A translation equivalence is a corresponding word or expression in another language. Example: alam blaks. Papua New Guinea language and English. This is example of translation equivalence between alam blak, Papua New Guinea and English. Example from word of Papua New Guinea is hope. An English speaker might analyze the alam blak word with two meanings, yesterday or tomorrow. The two English words are simple translation equivalence. However, there is another word in alam blak that can be analyzed as follow. Yuanane is day before yesterday and day after tomorrow. These alam blaks words do not have two sense, even though they each have two simple translation equivalents. A single explanatory analytic definition followed by translation equivalence is the preferable analysis. Like, you hope one day removed from the present, yesterday and tomorrow. Yuanane is 2 days removed from the present and day before yesterday, day before after tomorrow. And that's it, my explanation about what is translation equivalence. And my explanation will.
Okay, next I will explain about typologies of equivalence. Typologies of equivalent. In surveying the typologies of equivalent, Baker 2005 cites on the word level referential or denotative equivalent between the SL and TL words, which refer to the same things in the real world. In addition to connective equivalent, where the SL and TL words are expected to trigger the same or similar association in the minds of the native speaker of the two languages. Okay, next, four types of translation equivalent are distinguished by Popik in Basnett 1988. First, linguistic equivalent, where there is homogeneity on the linguistic level in both the original and text. In the process of translation, the person actually decodes the source language and tries to find the equivalent meaning of those word phrases and symbols and produced within the target language. For a linguistic equivalent is achieved if the target language, in specific language medium, carries the same intended meaning or message that the source language carries. Linguistic factors are those factors which exist at the level of concrete form and abstract meaning of any chunk of language. And the next explanation will be explained by my friend.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We want to explain paradigmatic equivalent in translation. So, dynamic equivalence same as critical as similar in fact as the CL text. On this reader ought to respect a similar relationship between the reader or listener and the text. Both form of the equivalent have tried pig and corns and relevant according to context of translation. Any five types of equivalent in the qualitative equivalent, one referential or the denotative, two connotative, three paradigmatic or dynamic, four text normative, five textual equivalent. And then I tell you about level of equivalent in science substantial influence in her degree of semantic similar. We can say that everything translation is made a critical level of equivalent. So level of equivalent is characterized by the part of information the retention of which distinguishes it from the previous level in the translation. And I tell you about what is equivalent and not equivalent in translation. So in this paper I have to analyze translation equivalent at two word level about two word level collection, idioms and metaphors, and grammatical equivalent. So non-equivalent means that the target linguistic has not direction equivalent. So the concept of equivalent is non-specific definition in the Collins Dictionary of the English language as the state of being equal or interaksible in the form, quantitative significant and the X or having the sex or a similar effect or meaning. So guys, in the linguistic equivalent is the way in which text is the second in our language as in the another from which it has been translated. So next I tell you about any something problem of the equivalent in translation. The problem with equivalent is we know that equivalent is the real things in the translation, that there is no translation of there is no equivalent between the original text and the translation text. Okay, thank you.
Stylistic equivalence. Every author has his or her own style of writing, in prose as well as in verse. Style is a significant area of analysis. The dissection of style helps to understand various facets of a piece of writing. Most of the times, poets and writers are recognized by their writing style. Example: Shakespearean style, Miltonic style, Brown's style, and so forth. Translating any SLT, a translation has to adapt or at least consider the style of the writer chosen. Style has an artistic function in translation. The important features of style and stylistic are explained in detail by Lynch and Short. Stylistic is a branch of linguistics and the style is an object of linguistic study. The main concern of style is the use of language. The style of an author convey the relationship between the use of language and its artistic function. The role of linguistics. The pattern in convey the particular message. According to style analysis, the content or matter is not as important as why and how is it incorporated. True language has to be considered more significant. The way of expression is a major part of stylistic analysis. Is it a relational concept in accordance with language and artistic function? Stylistic analysis consists with the linguistic constituents grammar, phonology, vocabulary, figures, and the repetition of any linguistic pattern.
Hello, my name is Fatma. Now I want to tell about textual equivalence. What do you know about textual equivalence? Hello, my name is Fatma. Now I want to tell about textual equivalence. What do you know about textual equivalence? Now according to the Catford 165, textual equivalent is that partition of the TI text with is the chain when and only when a given partition and SL text is chained. When the clause element of the TI text is chained, it must have the same partition with the clause element of the SL text. Here comparison of the text in different language finality is involved territory of the equivalent. Equivalent can be said to be the central issue. Its rotation although is the definition relevant and applicability within spite of the transition territory cause hate, controversy, and many different traditions of the concept of the equivalent have been elaborated. With the flight is the 50 years. He aim to this paper is just to review the territory equivalent as they interpreted some of the most innovative territory in this flight. Vinay and Albert Jacobson, Nida Taber, Catford House, and finally Baker. This territory have studied equivalent. Irrelevant in the transition process using the different F courses and have to provide fruitfully ideal. This topic territory will be analyzed the chronological order so that it will be easier to follow the evolution of the concept. This territory can be subtly divided. This intro provide translation scholarship who in favor of linguistic expert to translation of the same. So forget that translation itself is not purely in meta linguistics is fake when a meta translation from SL to TL. The translation is also differing with different culture, and the same time this particular aspect when to have be taken into comparison second group of interterated translation equation equivalence measured through this CL functional organizational upward to transition finale. There are other transition scholarship. Okay, uh, for instance, who claim the equivalent is use the the convenience because transition are using to the reader and that's and the chronological status. Okay, Finney and Albert and their definition of equivalence is translation. Finney and Albert view equivalent orientation translation are product with replicate translation as original while using completely different wording. Okay, I think enough. Bye bye.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rio Wahyuni. Now I want to explain about one two part of one equivalence. Wherein a TL expression covers part of the concept designed by a single SL expression as in the equivalence of the concept zakat into English as alms or charity, which reveals part but not the whole concept, which denotes a regular, obligatory charity, or more elaborately, a certain fixed proportion of the wealth, 2.5%, of every Muslim to be paid yearly for the benefit of the needy in the Muslim community. I think enough about my explanation. Thank you for your attention.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Eka Anggreni Rahayu. Now I want to explain about many to one, namely a row or more data in the first table connected to one or more rounds of data in the second table. More precisely, each row of data from the first table can be linked to one or more rounds of data, and the second table selects only one. For example, the relationship between the student table and the subject table. This is only subject table. And the assumption is that for I course many students can contract from A. A is student and B is course. From A to B, the maximum coordinately is 1. The from B to A, the maximum coordinately is a lot. This is different from contract from A to B and from B to A. And therefore, this relationship has coordinately to 1. Maybe that's just an explanation from me about many to 1. I hope you understand and maybe useful. Thank you.
Here, I am Sri Madalena, will continue the explanation of typology of equivalent for types of translation, namely textual equivalent in the nil or zero equivalent section. Nil and zero equivalent, it is a translation process which always involves the search for an equivalent. Equivalent play an important
rule in translation because their direct relationship with message. The translation equivalent itself is an empirical phenomenon obtained by comparing the source text with the target language text. Equivalent zero refers to a condition where the equivalent translation in the target language is not available because the element is not in the target language. For example, in English and Arabic, video television in Arabic, and algebra in English. In Sundanese, but not in English. Example, various, from which indicate the plural meaning, iona reason, which show the meaning of time, heji, one by one, show the number of target of process. So conclusion, because nil and zero equivalent exist in the target language text, so the consideration of nil and zero equivalent is seen from the vocabulary of word in English as the target language, not in other language as the sum language.
Collocation refers to a sequence of co-occurring words, or simply as Freud puts it, the company words keep together in a combination in which a word tends to occur in relatively predictable ways with other words, often with restriction on the manner of their co-occurrence as explicitly seen in restricting certain verb or adjective to certain nouns or certain preposition. It is widely accepted that to produce an acceptable accord or appropriate GL equivalent for a ZL counterpart poses a challenge even to the most competent and experienced translator. Achieving appropriate collocation in the TT Basil and Mason rightly assert has always been seen as one of the major problems a translator faces because CL interference may escape unnoticed and B corollary and unnatural collocation will follow the TT. The translators are those text is due to the semantic arbitrariness of collocation as explicated by the following example. The above collocation obviously poses a difficult problem to a translator. There is another category of collocation that are almost literally rendered into Arabic, which seem to have accommodated them as borrowed collocation. Here are some of them.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Erika from English Department Unit 2, Semester 4. I'm from Unit 2 and I want to give explanation about the collocation equivalent. What is that? Collocation is two or more words that often go together. This combination, for example, collocation with equivalent just sound right to native English speakers who use them all the time. On the other hand, other combination of equivalent may be unnatural and just wrong. For example, such as combination with make and do. You make a cup of tea, but you do your homework. Like that. Collocations are very common in business setting. When certain nouns are routinely combined with certain verb or adjective. For example, draw up a contract, set a price, conduct a negotiation. Other examples are to take a risk. Some people don't take enough risk in life. And verb collocation. Some of most common collocation involve verb noun plus noun collocation used in everyday situation. For example, to feel free. Please feel free to take a seat and enjoy the show. And business collocation are used in business and work settings. There are a number of forms including combined with keywords from business expression. For example, to forgive a debt. Do you think the bank will forgive a debt? Yes. And then common expression used as a short expression to describe how someone feels about a situation, used in the adjective, using an intensifier and a verb. For example, to go a great length to do something. To go to great length to do something. He went to a great length to explain the situation. Thank you. I think only that. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay guys, maybe that's just a presentation from us. Thank you for watching our presentation video. Goodbye and see you.